It's Tuesday night, Forza Motorsport Spec Racing here live on Twitch TV. Let's get it going. AMS Storm now here on lap number 34 of 34, jumps into the top spot. And here comes Maverick now, going to make a run to the inside. Drex perhaps missing his mark. Happy Tuesday and welcome to X Venture Live on Twitch TV. I'm Dustin Moore. It is time for week number 4 of season 40 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And in the words of Steve Harvey, we've got a good one for you. It is the Daytona Tri-Oval, the Speedway, followed up by a track we haven't been to in quite a while here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, Spa in the Belgian Forest. So hang tight. Be with us here for the next couple of hours, and I promise you're going to see some of the most exciting racing action in the Forza community that you will find any day of the week, much less on a Tuesday. So that's your teaser for the day. Here are the standings coming into tonight's action. We've got SGR Floofy with 192 points at the top of the leaderboard, followed by DTS Mondo. And then who we have? Craytrim, Barney. Sorry, my view was a little obscured. LS Barney there in 4th with 176, just 2 points back from Craytrim. Craytrim and Barney. Even Drex. I would even throw Drex into that group there. Having a magnificent drive here in Season 40 with the Porsche Carrera GT. Drex, not to be forgotten there. I said Drex. Fear the Fun, not to be forgotten, with 146 points in 6th position. Drex going to try to hold off Fear the Fun, because we know Fear. He wants that top 5. Barf Monkey with 142 points. Kuda, 128. Then you see Slow Motion Fire, CMB Slipstream, and then RZM McQueen, who's raced only one single week here in Season 40. In that 1 week, which was week number 2, won both the races, and that's why he's got a cool 100 points there on the right-hand side. Modern Weapon is a combination of weeks' worth of points to get 100. Then you see Onion with Too Many Eyes, Patches Riley, Cheetah, Spills, Graham Ovation, Wise the Mitten, Born as Ghost. Those are just 20 of the drivers who have participated here in Season 40 and have made it to the overall standings board here. And as always, I know I sound like a broken record when I say it, but race here in the Forza Spec Racing Series with these folks and make it your goal. If you have no other goal here in the series, make it that you reach the top 20 at some point in the season. It doesn't even have to be at the end of an entire season. Just at some point, make it into the top 20. That would be cool. That would be my personal goal. That would be great for me. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off, but that's what it is. By the way, and we'll hang out here on this standing screen for a second. Do let me know if I sound like I am distant or in a can or in a room, or what I'm really looking for is tell me if it sounds like I am speaking to you through a webcam mic, because my headset mic, as I found out following Sunday's broadcast, my headset mic was not turned on, and rather I was using the webcam mic, which is not ideal. Doesn't sound good at all. That really disappointed me there after Sunday's broadcast. So those are the standings, and then as I mentioned at the very tippity top here of the show, week number 4, penultimate week. But what I mentioned was the Daytona Speedway, the Tri-Oval for 42 laps in the dark, under the lights. And then Circuit de Spa Francorchamps there in Belgium, 11 laps on that massive track. And that will lead us into week number 5. And depending on what happens here tonight will determine whether or not we will have a race for the championship there in week number 5 out at Mugello, Autodromo Internazionale. 45 laps, that one will be. Regardless, whether or not there's going to be a race for the championship or not, we will be here a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, same channel, to give you coverage of that championship event. The winner of the championship, not necessarily that race, but the winner of the championship here in Season 40 then gets to pick the vehicle for Season 41, which everybody will race. And then we'll go into a 3-week off season, and then we'll queue up Season 41 in about 5 weeks' time here from this evening. By the way, Onion with Too Many Eyes, sorry for not saying hi there in the chat. I'm telling you, my windows are all out of order, and as a result, I wasn't able to properly see my OBS. I wasn't able to properly see my chat, but Onion with Too Many Eyes, Cheetah B119 says hello, and good evening to you there, Slow Motion Fire. And for anybody else who's joining us either now or throughout the broadcast, of course, if you are joining later, you won't hear me say this, but feel free to say hi there in the chat. Be happy to give you a shout out, and of course, at any point you wish to provide your 2 cents on the racing action, who you think's going to win, and all that good stuff, feel free to drop a line there in the chat as well. And hold on one second here. Let me flip back to the standings, adjust my audio real fast, and then we'll be out there for the 3 laps of qualifying around the Trial. This should go pretty quickly. I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe right at a minute? Nah, it's got to be maybe 50, 55 for the Carrera GT. I could be way off, but we're about to find out. First off the line is going to be Joe Beardy, followed by Cheetah. Then Slow Motion Fire, Grim, Spills, and others. But 17 loaded into the lobby right now. 17 of the 23 spots available. And by the way, since now we're in the racing action and I can reliably press this button and have it show up on the screen, there you go. Razor FG. Thank you so much for the follow about 5 hours ago in advance of today's broadcast. Thank you. As we go ahead and make a lap around the track, let's go ahead and throw in the bottom left. 51.999 there for Slow Motion Fire. So right around that 50-55 mark that I was thinking. And by the way, in our predictor, we only had 1 vote in the predictor. LS Barney saying that somebody else other than SGR Floofy was going to get the pole position out at Daytona. So whether Barney's right or wrong, I think he'll get those points back. But the predictor, if you're not familiar with it, it'll show up here heading into the next race. We'll get the predictor queued up. It's an opportunity for you all to engage with the action, be a part of the broadcast here, and you're wagering your channel points, which are not, it's not a currency. There's nothing monetary about it. It is strictly a system of points that are awarded to you for watching the broadcast, and use those points to go ahead and cast your vote. We'll get another one queued up here for the race. But right now, Joe Beardy with the top time at a 44.101. So that has come down dramatically from the 51 that they started at. So where I was thinking 50s, it looks like mid-40s is going to be the spot where you want to be if you're going to try to snag that pole spot. And as a matter of fact, Joe Beardy now across the line. Did he do one better here? No, he didn't. Cheetah did. A 44.046 there for Cheetah. What's up, Rice Neroni? No, oh, I messed it up. Never mind. Cheetah right now in pole position opposite of him as of this very moment. Now, it could change by the time we get out of the lobby for qualifying. Joe Beardy opposite of him there on row number 1. SGR Floofy starts row 2 with LS Barney, then DTS Mondo, Modern Weapon, Ovation, Audrex, Slow Motion Fire, and Kuda. That is tentatively the top 10. Tentatively. And there we go. We'll be going back to the lobby, so I'll go ahead and throw those total standings, the championship point standings. So this is minus the lowest points total for every driver in their worst performing week. I know I could have said that a lot better. Essentially, of the 3 weeks that have been raced so far, whichever is your lowest has been deducted from this tally. SGR Floofy, who is on top. Floofy with the back-to-back victories there in week number 3 out at Road Atlanta, the club circuit, and Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans, the old Mulsanne, which was our finale there in week number 3. Yeah, SGR Floofy. I mean, if SGR Floofy has a solid performance here tonight, and by solid performance, like if he snags another 2 victories in week number 4, I would have to see how the math pans out, but I believe that means SGR Floofy will have secured the championship. So, again, this is a very important performance here tonight by all the drivers to try and prevent SGR Floofy from securing the championship early. Locking it down. Koenigsegg RSR, thank you for the follow. Spills a lot with the LMAO because Ellis Barney, you did not get the pole. Joe Beardy with a 44.101. Hold on. There we go. Cheetah with a 44.046. That should be your pole spot, I think. I don't know. Maybe we'll get down to Ellis Barney and see. Maybe he did snag it there on the final lap. Slow Motion Fire with a 44.265, a 45 there for Grimm, a 44 for Spills. Modern Weapon with a 44.168, a 44.110 there for SGR Floofy. And then it's 44.198 for Kuda, 44.2 for Fear. Cratrum with a 44.083. Drex with a 44.123. Ellis Barney did. Hold on, we got to wait for it to load back in. Ellis Barney with a 44.037 was able to grab the pole spot on that third and final qualifying lap. DTS Mondo with a 44.163, a 47.080 for Weisenmitten. Patches Riley with a 44.5, and Nicky Bobby with a 44.3. Nobody with a dirty lap time, which you would expect here on the tri-oval. It's not overly difficult to keep your vehicle either off the wall or within track limits out on Daytona. Again, the speedway. The tri-oval. All right, so the outcome there, congratulations, Ellis Barney. You correctly predicted that somebody other than SGR Floofy would win that pole spot, and it was you. Let's go ahead and run this one to ask the question, will Ellis Barney win at Daytona? Wager your channel points. You have nothing to lose by doing so. Except for channel points, which, again, they can't be sold for anything. I'm going to go ahead and give you all 20 minutes here for this one. And wager as many as you'd like. So that you can I don't know, have more in your account. More than you already do. All right, let me take a look here in the driver's spotlight. We've got Cheetah. B119. Cheetah, I see a 44.046 for a sliver of a moment there. You had the top time, and then Ellis Barney came around and snagged it up from you.
Yeah, I thought I had it. I really did. I think that was faster than any of the laps that I ran in practice. I think I was first in practice too, so
okay, well, what about...
I didn't get the pole like I did for the Indy 500, so...
Yeah. Well, okay, so you don't get pole. I guess maybe not so big of a deal. I mean, now that means you'll just be in either the front of... you'll still be on the front in row number 1, or if you're back there on row number 2, I'd have to check your time against others, but if you're in row number 2, that just means you get a chance to take advantage of the slipstream there a little bit. So not a huge deal, right?
I mean, I'm in second.
Okay.
Got that right at the end. So Arnie should get far enough ahead where I should be able to slip right in between first and third, where I should get the slipstream. Um, but and honestly, after the fact, it would have been nice to get the pole, but I don't know. I'm not sure that I really want it, just as a rookie.
Um, well, and tell us about this little bit of a wild card too. Here we are at Daytona. It has a little bit of banking there on the start finish line. So, Do you think you've got it all sorted out, a strategy, or at least the way that you're going to start this race in this car without kind of slip sliding it all across the banking?
Yeah, I practiced for it a little bit before
Yeah.
this race. Not for much time, just because I was trying to get down the line to get as tight as I could in the corners. But I think I've got a fast approach. It definitely doesn't slide very fast. It does slide still because you can't really get the non-slidey here at the start. But I think I've got a good one.
And I'm curious, we've got a lot of laps to run out here at Daytona. As I check back to the schedule, I believe we're looking at 40-something, 42 laps here at the Daytona Speedway. Any concerns at all with tire degradation toward the end or fuel?
I checked fuel during practice, and fuel, we should be about 7 laps good. Tires, I don't know. I didn't really check those very carefully. Um, so that'll be a mystery.
Now that I've brought it up, does it worry you a little bit?
Actually, maybe a little bit.
Those right-hand tires might just be screaming for help there by the end of the race. You mentioned the car is not overly slidey, but how does your tune and all that feel? How confident do you feel in the car? Obviously, you've done really well during practice. You did even better during qualifying with the time. But in general, thinking 42 laps, how do you feel with the vehicle?
I think it's pretty good, especially since I just ran an Indy 500. That was a very long race, and so this shouldn't be too much different. It's shorter, so more of a sprint, but I think it should be good.
And tell us a little bit about that. Was that through the was Tora? That was Tora's 20 or not 20? It was Tora's Indy 500, or was it another event?
It was MEA's Indy 500, so it was Spec Tune,
And you got
and there was
pole.
a
Did you
cash
finish first
prize.
too? Was it a first place finish?
I was second place with 3 laps to go, and then I got someone in my rear bumper.
Ah, always
So
tricky.
I
Always
finished
tricky at
11th.
Indy. Okay. All right. All right, Cheetah. Well, a different configuration, a different track setup too. Not the Indy oval setup, or well, I guess it's a tri-oval here at Daytona. But in terms of banking, all different. And then of course the Carrera GT makes it especially different. But best of luck to you here in this race, and maybe we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
All right, that was DPR Cheetah B119 as called out in Discord, or Cheetah 119 or B119 as we know him here in the chat on Twitch. What's up there? Spills a lot is in the chat as well. Barney stole the pole. Darn you, Barney. And yes, we've got the predictor up right now asking the question, will LS Barney, who is on pole, win here at the Daytona Tri-Oval? And speaking of Barney, yes, Barney, I put you on the spot. You win pole. I'm going to go ahead and get the viewers to wager a guess as to whether or not you're going to finish out in front. What are your thoughts?
I'm not going to say anything about where I think I'm going to finish. Last time
You're not
I've
gonna
said
ruin
something
it.
about where I think I'm going to finish, it just didn't go well at all. That was the Indy 500. I qualified pole for B lobby, and then just got destroyed. Ended up like fifth in the end, but I was down in last at one point. So I don't want to ruin that again. I don't want to jinx it. So
Fair
I'm not going
enough.
to say about where I'm going to finish, but I hope it's going to be good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was just talking with Cheetah, who didn't do a lot of testing in terms of tire degradation. Clearly had the vehicle on point for qualifying and did well. You came by and snuck out, took away the pole position on the last qualifying lap. But what about you? How is the Porsche Carrera going to do for 42 laps here on the banked left-handers?
I think it should be fine. This is definitely gonna be one of the, in my opinion, or what from what I think is probably gonna be one of the tracks with the least degradation. Spa is probably gonna be the one I'm gonna worry about for tire degradation. But around here, I'm pretty sure I should be fine with tires.
And how things work here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, the pole sitter gets to dictate the rig. So I don't know that there's anything crazy you can really do to trick folks, but here we are again on a slightly banked start-finish area. How do you, one, come away without sliding the back end out, if that's even really a concern? And then two, are you going to kind of try to punch it as soon as possible, or are you going to leave everybody anticipating?
Well, to keep the wheels from spinning, I'm probably gonna start in second gear. But about the start strategy, I can't be spoiling that. I mean, someone might be listening to the
They're
stream
not
right now
listening.
and just know my strategy.
Nah, they don't. They're not listening at all.
But one thing I've seen people do in the past is start like right at the 20-second mark, because that way most people just won't be ready because they'll expect it to go earlier. But that is a strategy. Probably not going to be mine though.
All right, well, try to give us a little bit of insight in terms of how you get the pole position, how you get around Daytona so quickly. Is there a particular line that you favor here, low, medium, or high line?
Oh, you want to stay as low as possible. I think the way I found the best was right on the double yellow line on the inside corner. If you get your right tire or left tires, sorry, get your left tires in that little groove, and just keep your car, hold it there itself, and it'll help. It helps you gain a lot of time on other cars.
Joe Beardy, who has jumped into the chat. And by the way, Joe Beardy joining in on the action of the racing here tonight. Joe Beardy hasn't been a participant here in Season 4, but is happy to be a part of oval racing. He says, second gear start at 20 seconds sounds good. So he's already reading you.
Well, I mean, Joe, I never said I would start at 20 seconds, but I mean, if I do the triple bluff on you, then
there you
maybe I
go.
will.
There you go, the triple bluff. And remind me, Barney, have you switched over to wheel and pedals, or you're on controller?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on wheels just for this race.
Just
though.
for this
I only do
race.
wheel on ovals.
All right, well, that's good. That's good to know, because we know Joe Beardy is on wheel and pedals, and Ovation is in the race too. So we know that's a third, and I'm sure there will be others. LS Barney, well done on the qualifying. Best of luck in the race. We'll see you on the other side.
All right, thank you.
All right, everybody's readied up. It looked like they were maybe taking a little bit of time trying to get one more driver maybe back in there after falling out. They seem to have accomplished that. So out to Daytona we go. You see the fireworks. It's a little bit of a sunset-like skybox here, so not the full-on dark, but it really didn't matter because we've got the lights, the illumination of the track, and that'll make it easily visible. Both the corners, the straightaways, the one straightaway that they're, well, I guess between 4 and the start-finish line, and between the start-finish line and turn 1, there's a little bit of a straight there, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's only been in recent seasons, maybe the last 3 or 4 seasons, where we've seen an oval show up repeatedly, and to take the Carrera GT out there will be, I think, a bit of a different experience from what we've seen. The only thing I could think that may be a bit similar to that was the Bugatti EB110. I think we had that out at an oval. And we're still waiting for a few drivers came out of the ready position. Modern Weapon, Ovation, and, pardon me, Cuda 93. We're just waiting for those drivers to get it sorted out. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me here on a Tuesday. Like I said, if you've got the next hour and a half or so, hang tight. Enjoy the racing action. We do this every Tuesday, apart from when the Forza Spec Racing Series is in their off season, which is about 3 weeks, a 3-week period from the end of one season to the start of the next. So with next Tuesday being the finale, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Xventure, then it'll be a 3-week hiatus. However, I'll be here. I'll have other content going until Season 41 gets kicked off. For more information about the Forza Spec Racing Series, how you could take part, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. It is a competitive series in the sense that you're racing, but really, They classify themselves a beer league. They just want you to race clean. That's really all it is. You're going to find all kinds of skill levels out here on the track. You're going to find cars already in the back of the field, kind of slipping and sliding there. And now here we go. LS Barney kicks things off. Kick the tires, light the fires. Week number 4 of Season 40 is underway out here at the Daytona Speedway. LS Barney already with a pretty sizable lead heading into turn number 1. Again, that could have very well been the result of the unsettling start there. The banked start-finish line area just doesn't allow you to get the Carrera GT and all 500 and some horsepower to really hook up, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and jump out. They are a restart, which is not uncommon. It's not typical, but we do get these from time to time. So they'll jump back out to the lobby to make sure that they can get everything going correctly this go around. Let's take another look here at the standings just so that you all are very, very clear in terms of what the storylines are here in tonight's race. We've got SGR Floofy, who went back-to-back there in week number 3, thanks to the departure of RZ McQueen, because RZ McQueen went back-to-back in week number 2. McQueen leaving opened up the door for somebody else to take the helm, and that's exactly what Floofy did. 192 points, that 3-point lead there over DTS Mondo in second. Then Cratrum with 178, LS Barney with 176, and even though it looks like, okay, those two drivers, they're in third and fourth, Cratrum and Barney, although they're nearing that 20-point delta from their spot to first. Keep in mind that week number 5, the finale, is 2 times the points because it is only one race. So if you can do well here tonight and make up a little bit of that difference with Floofy's lead, and then in week number 5 get that victory out at Mugello, then a very viable opportunity there from DTS Mondo down to LS Barney. Audrex's difference there, the delta between 5th and 1st overall on the leaderboard, a little bit more challenging to overcome. However, in a race where we have an oval where that kind of really opens it up for a lot more potential in terms of who's going to win that race. As we always see in the ovals, it's never a sure thing, where on the road courses, you know who's dominant there. But on these ovals where a lot of it really comes down to finesse in your control, and if you've got a wheel, that certainly helps. It comes down to finesse, consistency, and doesn't have all the lefts and rights that you typically have to deal with throughout the season. And so we oftentimes see the winner getting switched up here. If you can get the win here, maybe eke one out at Spa, which is our second race here of the evening, and then come away with a victory or an exceptional performance out at Mugello next week, oh yeah, championship definitely within reach for at least the top 4, possibly the top 5. Possibly. All right, they are almost readied up here. Just one more driver to get going, and then we'll give it another shot. Give it another shot. And if you're enjoying the content here throughout the broadcast, by all means, click the follow link somewhere down below here. I don't know which side it is. I'm all mirrored, so I'm probably pointing in the right direction or wrong direction. But if you are enjoying the broadcast, please click that follow button. Lets me know as the broadcaster that you are enjoying your time. All right, let's go ahead and head out to the track now as they are ready to go. You hear that V12 Ferrari motor spooling up, banging off the rev limiter. There it goes. On the line, LS Barney, again, our pole sitter. You got a few minutes left here with the channel points to decide, will LS Barney win this race? Kick the tires, light the fires. We try it again here out at the Daytona Speedway. Race number, oh gosh, this is race 7 here in season 40. Our first race of week 4. And LS Barney, once again, with about a 5-6 car lead. What's up there, Sabine? How you doing? Good to see you again. Welcome back. And back behind LS Barney, here comes Cheetah using that slipstream to his advantage. Barney doesn't have that luxury. Back behind Cheetah, in third, it's SGR Floofy, Craytrim, Mondo, Audrex, Joe Beardy, Fear the Fun, Kuda, and Ovation. That's your top 10. Good to hear it there, Track. Sabine, if you guys aren't following Sabine here on Twitch, be sure to click on their name there in the chat and do so, providing coverage to other Forza events and some pretty big name events at that. So make sure you are giving Sabine a follow. Down the back straightaway they go here on lap number 2. Let's go ahead and ride on board here. Let's drop back to, let's go to Mondo, who's currently in 5th. And ride on board. Getting a little hairy up here in the top 5. Joe Beardy going to roll up onto the backside of Craytrim. And they're going to go 2 wide. Joe Beardy, Audrex, 4 and 5. Audrex dips down a little bit. I think Audrex is on controller, whereas Joe Beardy, you can see a little bit smoother. He's got the wheel. That is the difference. Joe Beardy jumps up to 4th position. Here comes Craytrim into 6th, just out in front of DTS Mondo. As they are largely single file through 1 and 2. Now down the back straightaway again. And you can hear it. With the RPMs, they are not decelerating. They are not braking. It's just gun it and run it. Back across the line. Beginning of lap number 5. We've got one driver in the pit lane. As I take a look to see who that is, it's going to be Kuda93. Last opportunity to cast your vote. Will LS Barney win this race at Daytona? Use those channel points down below to wager a guess. And if you win, then you get your cut of the channel points. Channel points are important here on X-Venture. That's what that's what I use for the giveaways. Cheetah now going to cross the line in first, taking it back from LS Barney. And I say back because Cheetah there, after the second qualifying lap, had the fastest time and was sitting on pole. But now, falls back a little bit. And actually, oh, wow. Hold on. I'm just now realizing that we had a massive chunk of cars DNF. Oh, my. Which, does that include LS Barney? No, I think I see Barney still out there on the track. We lost Fear the Fun, Weisenminton, Nicky Bobby, and Spills. And it seems like we had a driver who did not get loaded into the race, because we had 17 in the lobby, only 16 loaded in, and we have now already lost 4 of them. SGR Floofy now moves up to 2nd position. Nice little camera view here coming out of 2. And now down the back straightaway. They were going to go side by side, but then that means if you're out there on the high line with nobody else, you become vulnerable. Did Cheetah's tires just come off the ground? Did Cheetah's front wheels just lift up? I swear Cheetah's front end got slightly airborne as Floofy made contact, and now here comes Floofy to the outside. Audrex now is going to harass Cheetah on the back bumper as they go into turn number 1. Floofy all by himself out there now looks to get a little bit of help there in fourth. That's going to be LS Barney. And a little bit of help he did get. Got tagged there on the backside. He spins around. And so now Floofy's got some work cut out for him to catch back up. Let's go to LS Barney there in third. It looked like maybe LS Barney just slightly, ever so slightly, caught the left rear quarter panel of Floofy's Carrera GT. And of course, going, I don't know, what, 100 and, I don't know, we can get the telemetry up here real quick. $205, 204, 6 miles per hour. It doesn't take much to loosen up the back end and send it spinning. And that's exactly what we saw there. Or at least what it appeared to be with SGR Floofy. Let's go back to the X-Venture rewind and see if we can't make it out here. Into turn number 1, then 2. You see Floofy on the high side. Then Barney joins him. And, oh, yeah, it looked like Floofy was a little wobbly there on the high side. And LS Barney, who we talked to, is on a wheel. He was just trying to maintain his position. But if the car in front of him was getting all squirrely, and of course Floofy, if he let off the accelerator a little bit just to correct, well, that doesn't leave Barney with enough time to react, and that might have been the reason there for that little tap. And so now Cheetah is our race leader. Audrex in second, LS Barney in third. Big J Bishop says, I don't know if my AMD drivers are corrupt or my Forza is bugged, but I can't play Forza without hard lockup. Wow. Yeah, that's no bueno. Slim Jim says, no fear. The sad face. What's up there, Virus Thoughts? The racing has been good. So far, so good. The unfortunate thing is we are very early on in this race. We lost as many as 4 drivers. Very early on. And now across the line. Let's go ahead and ride back on board here with DTS Mondo. We were on board with DTS Mondo about 2 or 3 laps in. Let's do it again as he's got the best look here from the back of the pack of the top 5. As always, providing season start to season finish coverage of the Forza Spec Racing Series. I'm Dustin Moore on the microphone. Thank you very much for tuning in to X-Venture. And for those of you, I see we've got a nice little crowd going on right now. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the racing content, please click that follow button, much like Koenigsegg RSR and Fraser FG did. Those follows are the most I ask of the viewers. That's really all I want from the viewership, is if you follow the channel, it tells me that either I'm doing something right, or at least the content is enough that you've committed to it. And then for those of you who wish to support a little bit more, the option to subscribe either with your Prime Gaming subscription, your monthly token, your free sub that you get when you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, or through a paid subscription. Those are always appreciated. They go back toward the production of the broadcast or for our viewer giveaways. And oh my, the DNFs are real here tonight. This is the worst we have seen in a long, long time. Let's go back to third with LS Barney. It seems as if DTS Mondo, yes, the car that we were riding on board with, DTS Mondo has DNF'd. And so now out of the 16 drivers who started, I think we've whittled it down to what? 11. Wow, this is not a good night. Cheetah, B119, is still our race leader. We talked to him during the pre-race driver spotlight segment. Audrex in second, LS Barney in third, Cratrim in fourth. We're missing DTS Mondo, who was in fifth. That is now occupied by Ovation, followed by SGR Floofy, who, as we saw about 4 or 5 laps ago, got spun around inadvertently there in turn number 2. Back into turn 1. Lap number 16 of 42. That 43rd, yes, the 43rd lap that you see there in the upper left will just be a cooldown lap. So let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle situation here for LS Barney. Creeping up on 14% up front. And, oh my, LS Barney is showing aero damage and some right front brake damage. And now he has spun it around, or at least dropped down to the apron, and is heading into pit lane. Yikes. This is turning out to be not the smoothest oval race we have witnessed here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And now they're in third position. Is Cratrim trying to catch up here to Cheetah, who is in first, and Audrex, who is in second, trying to make it a three-way battle. And Weisemitten there in the chat. Weisemitten, also one of those who disconnected from the race, saying, "Go Ovation, Team Goose Gang." That's a horrible. It's more like a. I don't know. Get the Geico. That's not Geico. I don't know. Who has the goose? Coming out of turn number 2. Cheetah doing really, really well. He's got the English license plate there and is donning the stars and stripes all over the car. The Aflac. Yeah, there we go. Aflac. Gilbert Godfrey this thing here all the way to the end of the race. Across the line. And Audrex might be content hanging out right there, as we're not even halfway through this one. Just kind of hang out on the back of Cheetah because you have no real advantage of being up front. Here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, you don't get any additional points for leading a lap. It's all about where you finish at the end of the race. And so to kind of hang out here in second like Audrex is seemingly doing just means that you're putting the pressure on the leader, while at the same time kind of taking a look at their style and seeing where they might have a weakness, a disadvantage, or something that you could take advantage of a little bit later on. By the way, in our predictor, fewer than 1% of the channel points, the executables cast, say that Barney will win this race, while rounded up to 100%, or 14.6 thousand channel points, 5 of you have said that LS Barney will not win this race. Weisemitten, hey Dustin, internet issues, but if I was in there, would have been running great. My tune is used for this race, says Weisemitten. I hear you. Yeah, the ISP gods don't seem to be in your favor here the last couple of weeks, which is really unfortunate because nobody as a driver likes to fall out of a race from a involuntary DNF. Nobody on the spectating side likes to see drivers fall out of a race. That's not fun. I mean, we didn't have 23 drivers in here like we've had in some Forza Spec Racing Series races, but even 17 out there. We would love to see all 17 who finish or who start the race come across the line and finish the race. And really, regardless of how well you do out here on the track in the Forza Spec Racing Series, the name of the game is just try to get better, race after race, week after week, season after season. And if that sounds like something you're interested in and you want to be a part of in the lead up to the next Forza Motorsport title, then head on over to reddit.com/r/FN4. See how things are run. Get an understanding of the car build, at least here for Season 40. And if you want to race in the final week of Season 40, you certainly can. Again, as long as you race clean, especially if it's going to be a championship, it's going to be a decider in the championship. But even then, they just want 5 weeks of solid, clean racing out of you. And if you can't be there for all 5 weeks, that's understandable too. But it is, I don't know, I may be a little bit biased, but in terms of small-scale, community-run series or leagues, you're not going to find one any better, in my opinion. Very accommodating. You've got folks who are diverse in skill, diverse in background, diverse in, just their thoughts, their racing style, their community, their presence within the community. Some folks you're very well aware of, other folks maybe you never heard of. And I think that's what really makes FM4 shine, is just that they've got the door open. If you can commit to clean racing, they're happy, more than happy to have you out here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. SGR Floofy, by the way, has made it up to 4th position. This after falling back to 7th, following a spin coming out of turn number 2, back on lap, 6, 7, or 8. And so Floofy doing exactly what I thought he would do, making a very good recovery. Now the question's going to be, can he catch up to the top 3? He's got Cratrim, who is quite a ways out. Cratrim now entering turn number 1, whereas SGR Floofy just coming across the start-finish line. And we've got another vehicle into pit lane. That's going to be Cuda 93 for at least the second time here in this race. Let's go back up to Drex for right now. And I've got my eye on Cratrim, who's out in the open, all by himself right now. However, very possible, especially if he can get Floofy to catch up and they can kind of team up and work together, very possible that they may be able to have a run at second, first position in these final laps here of the Daytona Tri-Oval. You saw our race leader there, Cheetah, and Audrex making use of the slipstream provided there by Cuda 93, getting through turns 3 and 4, and so that propels them forward and try to get further away from Cratrim. Maybe if Cratrim can catch up to Cuda, help close that gap a little bit right now, because first and second are on the opposite, well, not on the direct opposite end of the track, but a good, 3 or 4 second lead here on third, and then you've got to look even further back to find SGR Floofy. SGR Floofy now finding his way around Ovation An ovation, another one of the drivers on a racing wheel. Look at that. Just kind of slices it over there in front of Floofy. Does Floofy have some mechanical issues? I don't see any. Look at that, 47 in the fuel tank, 24, 28% respectively. The front left, or excuse me, the front right and the rear right tire of Luffy's Carrera GT. The Carrera GT, again, 582 horsepower, 432 foot-pounds of torque, 3,026 pounds of curb weight. Back to first. Drex now has moved up into first. Assumes the top spot. Gets onto the back bumper here of LS Barney. LS Barney, who had to go into pit lane there with some aero damage and front right brake damage. I'm not sure how he picked that up, but we saw it live here on the broadcast, and it necessitated a stop because Barney was not going to be able to get around the oval for another 20-some laps, and as a result, he's about to find himself a lap down from the race leader. Barney really needed a solid run, and for being on pole at the start of this one, you thought, well, here you go. Perfect setup. On pole. Needs to beat Floofy. Then it all went awry about 10, 12 laps ago. He's doing a heck of a job holding off the leader so as not to get passed and lapped. And so we'll see how long this goes. Barney at some point may go ahead and just move out the way, but right now he is tracking in 7th position, patches Riley, and then with what time he has left, he might be able to catch up with Joe Beardy, who is in 6th. Drex looking every which way. Of Barney's car, but again, why push the issue? As long as, if you're Drex, as long as you can hold Cheetah, which they're going to go side by side down the back straightaway, patches Riley in the middle here on the back stretch. And look at this, 3 wide, Cheetah, Drex, LS Barney on the low line, patches Riley now, moves up to the high side, and he gets spun around, and Cheetah's in the clear, but patches Riley goes spinning, and it looks like it just so happened to park him into pit lane. I don't think he needed to go into the pits. It's just that's where his car ended up as he spun off the oval, down onto the apron. And so here comes Cheetah now, who was side by side there and had the run on Drex the last time down the back straightaway. He just got stuck behind Patches and had nowhere to go. And now here comes Drex, who's going to harass LS Barney. LS Barney he's just there, and he ain't going anywhere, apparently. Barney now up to 7th with Patches ejected off the track into turn number 1, and wouldn't you know there, well, actually, no, that's not Craytrim. Craytrim now just coming across the line. I thought that was Craytrim within view of the camera here in the background, but it's not. It's one of the other back markers. Craytrim really has to put the pedal down now if he's going to try to make a run for the top 2, which he would really benefit from. Cratrum entering week number 4 third with 178 points to DTS Mondo, who's in second. DTS Mondo has 189. And DTS Mondo disconnected from this race. So a real shot here. A real shot for Cratrum and for Audrex at that. I was telling you about how Audrex is kind of on the cusp, on the fringe there of the championship battle. And this would do the trick. Or at least partially. He would have to either try to replicate it or come very close to the top spot out at Spa for the final race of the evening, which, yes, you heard me correctly. We're heading out to Spa. We just don't go out there enough here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And so to the driver who picked that one here for the Carrera GT, little tip of the cap to you. LS Barney still holding off Audrex and Cheetah. Here comes Barney, or excuse me, not Barney, but Cheetah, looking for another line. But that wasn't going to work out for him. And as Barney told us in the driver's spotlight, that low line is where you want to be. And he's not willing to relinquish position, even though he's almost an entire lap back. He's just preventing that from happening here. And for Barney's sake, he's got 6th. Not extremely close, but with 5 laps to go, it is not out of the realm of possibility here, especially if Joe Beardy has a slip-up. Again, Joe Beardy not competing throughout Season 40. And there goes Patches Riley onto the low line. Just getting out of the way this time and entirely. Not going to be a part of the action at all here on lap 39. But it is possible that with Audrex and Cheetah behind him, that Cratrum might be able to sneak up to 6th. And again, no matter how bad the race starts, if you can make a solid recovery, try to eke out as many points as you can. You never know. Sure, right now it may look like this is your drop week, but you just may never know what happens in week number 5. And so you want to make the most of every opportunity to gain points, even if it's only 2, 3, 5 points total. You want to try to reap those rewards if you can. Look at this, Audrex and Cheetah moving up the line a little bit, getting through 3 and 4. And now on board here with Cheetah. Lap 41. Next time by will be the white flag in this 42-lap race. Tire degradation, not that bad at all. Only 30s on the outside, and even the back, the rear left tire here of Cheetah's Carrera GT, but not bad at all. Negligible and probably not even noticeable. Here they go into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here. Race number 7 of Season 40. Patches Riley on the grass and apron once again. Cheetah, I don't think, is going to be able to make it happen here. No, he cannot. He tried to put a couple tires there below the double yellow to see if that would work out for him. It doesn't. Drex picking up his first championship, or excuse me, his first race victory here in season number 40, out at the Daytona Tri-Oval, getting around Cheetah with about 25 laps to go or so. Just a little less than half the race. And secures it. Cheetah in second, Cratrum in third. Ovation moves up to fourth with Floofy falling back to fifth. Then Joe Beardy, Barney, Slow Motion Fire. Let's take note of everybody's finishing position. I'm going to run some ads for those of you who are not subscribers to the channel. If you watch the ads, that would be cool. It allows those folks who join us a little bit later on the broadcast to avoid the pre-roll. And then for those of you who are subscribers to the channel, thank you so, so much. You can listen to some, just jam out to some music. I'll be right back. We'll run through the total. We'll talk, we'll run through the unofficial standings. We'll talk to a driver or two in the driver's spotlight, and we'll get ready for qualifying out at Spa. You're watching Xventure, and it's Season 40, Week number 4 action of the Forza Spec Racing Series here live on Twitch TV. Welcome back to Xventure Live on Twitch TV. The seventh race of season 40 has come to a conclusion here out at the Speedway, the Daytona Tri-Oval Speedway. And next up, we've got Spa for 11 laps. And that's going to be a great one because it has been so long since we've been out to that track. And in the Carrera GT and S800 car, that's going to make things a little bit interesting going up the hill of Eau Rouge. And then, of course, making your way back downhill in the very high-speed sections, Puhan and the like. It's going to be a fascinating race. So hang tight with us for the next hour. That's all it'll take, because we'll have some qualifying here, followed by the 11 laps of racing, and it'll be a good time. The championship picture has certainly gotten a lot more interesting at the conclusion of that one out there at Daytona. Audrex picking up the victory. Audrex entering week number 4 in 5th position in total points. Cheetah securing 2nd after almost getting pole before that got ripped from his clutches by LS Barney. Able to finish where he started there in 2nd position. Cratrim in 3rd. Ovation sneaks up there on the wheel and pedals in 4th position. Floofy, who we saw drop back as far as 7th after a spin out coming out of turn number 2 pretty early on in the race, maybe a quarter of the way through, able to move back up to 5th position. LS Barney, who was our pole sitter after qualifying, drops all the way back to 6th position, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. One moment we see him racing with the top 5. The next, I see that he's got aero damage all about the car and then brake damage in the front right. Had to go into pit lane. Joe Beardy, who was on a racing wheel and pedals, finishing there in 7th position. And as I mentioned, Joe Beardy, we've got him here in the driver's spotlight. Joe Beardy, probably not the finish you were looking for, considering you were on wheel and pedals, but perhaps a consequence of not being a part of Season 40 action.
Yeah, I would have liked to finish a little bit better in that one, but what do you do when people start getting a little antsy and start touching? Those are the things that happens. But I guess at the end of the day, it's just racing, right?
Did it result in any pit stops, or was it just a spin out and then a recovery that put you back?
No, I stayed clean. I believe it was Barney who started to float up the track a little bit with Floofy there, and then I was just trying to split the gap and just kind of caught up in it, got loose, spun. I just had a hard time while being on wheel, of course, getting it corrected and straightened out. Might have been able to save a little bit more time and maybe would have been able to run with like the 4th and 5th group at the end of the race, but I ended up spinning completely out. Went back to 10th and then had to work with Kuda, work our way up to catch. Who'd we catch next? We ended up catching up with Slow and a couple other guys that eventually, helped me get to 6th. But yeah, it definitely did not help my result at the end of the day with that spin.
Yeah, and I know you love the oval racing, and so it's a shame that it all goes awry. I mean, there was a lot of attrition in that race. We've lost, I believe, 4 or 5 drivers from that one, and then, of course, we did see a little bit of bumping action. Maybe not intentional, but as you say, perhaps folks getting a little anxious or eager to make a move when really the opportunity did not present itself. Talking with Joe Beardy here in the driver's spotlight. So, Joe, are you going to stick around for Spa?
I'm going to stick around for Spa. I'm 50-50 if I'm going to either run the wheel or switch to a controller. Just I haven't been driving at all lately. Work's just been crazy and busy, and I haven't got a chance to do any gaming lately, but it worked out tonight knowing that there was an oval tonight as well as Spa, which I do enjoy Spa a lot, but just getting to know this car a little bit in practice is just a lot different, and I might have my hands full with it on a wheel versus I might be able to go more arcade style on a controller and throw it in 3rd person and drive from there, which is not my normal forte, but I
Yeah.
might give it a shot on controller tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see how many folks who got the DNFs in the first race of the evening, if they come back out on the track as things stand when I look at the lobby right now, 13 drivers. So we are a bit shy of the 17 who were initially part of Daytona, and then that quickly scaled back some. You said you like Spa, so what is it about a Spa that excites you particularly, and do you think the Carrera GT will be a proper fit for you here?
Will the car be a proper fit for me? I'm gonna say no to that one. It's definitely a little more horsepower than what I'm used to.
Mhm.
It's lacking quite a bit of mechanical grip, I feel like. You really just gotta know how to keep it planted from what I saw in practice with it there. As far as Spa, I've always enjoyed it, I think just due to the history of it, the old F1 circuit history of it, old classic photos of how it used to be a race in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact of how many lives been lost there, how treacherous it is, but also how the weather can change in real life there, be sunny on one side and be a storm on the other, and how you kind of race in between a couple mountain peaks and ridges through Belgium. So I just think it's a very unique track in that sense, and I know just a lot of history to go with it.
A lot of history, a very picturesque racing environment, that is for certain. And with the rain turned off in this race, no precipitation whatsoever, should be smooth sailing in that regard. Are these longer tracks like Spa a little bit frustrating in qualifying? You've only got 3 laps for qualifying. The first one is an out lap from a standing start. So one little mistake and then boom, you've got to make the whole run back around the circuit, and then you've got one less lap to try to get your best time.
Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if a couple guys' quote hot laps wouldn't be their out laps, or that's actually their slowest one, could be their best because it's clean. You bring up a good point though, because I know in practice, I mean, you could go at least 4 seconds a lap quicker if it was dirty, but making it clean, it could be 4 seconds slower just, by trying to keep all 4 tires within that racing line and not exceeding track limits. So that will be a good point. Yeah, it might get you halfway up on the grid if you can at least keep it clean, and then hope for people to have mishaps from there and drive off. And I think keeping the car clean for this race is going to determine whether you can stay in the top 5 or not.
And that's what our predictor will be. Is I'm asking the question of how many dirty qualifiers will we have out here at Spa? Will we see 0 to 3 or 4 more? Last thing, Joe Beardy, is what's it going to take for you? What are you thinking? What's your kind of strategy, especially coming out of Daytona where you said, hey, maybe the racing wasn't the cleanest. How do you get up Eau Rouge for the first lap of the actual race and do so cleanly and not have to make the long trek around and into pit lane?
Well, to get up at the fastest or the cleanest, there's a big difference.
Either.
Fastest,
It's lap one. It's lap one. So what's your strategy?
Lap 1? Oh, geez, I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I don't know. I guess let's see where qualifying goes first, and then I'll make a plan according, at least when I'm on the grid, whether I want to check up, let everyone go, maybe tangle, or just go full send mode. It really maybe depends on where I'm qualified at. So I guess we're going to find out here in a few moments, won't we?
We'll see how Joe does during qualifying, and then we'll head out there for the 11 laps out at Spa to see how everybody attacks Eau Rouge for that first lap. Joe Beardy, great chatting with you as always. Best of luck to you here in qualifying.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, let's go ahead. We've got another one waiting in the driver's spotlight there. Wiseman, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There we go. I know we've had some driver spotlight issues in the past, but good to have you in here. So the ISP monster continues to be the biggest challenge for you. You said there in the chat you would have had a great run out of Daytona if it weren't for that. So hopefully you can maybe parlay that disconnect into a good run here at Spa.
I'm hoping. So I've tapped into somebody else's internet signal now.
You're using Bob's internet from across the street, huh?
Exactly. Bob won't mind. So I'm hoping I can get it through.
Yeah. With what time you have been able to race here in the Carrera GT, what are your thoughts on the car?
The car is great. I love the car. I seen that Ovation got fourth. I was very, very happy with that. I did tuning all day for that car, for Daytona specifically, and gave him my numbers. He was wild about my numbers. As soon as he drove it, surprised him. And I actually was not too surprised to see him in the top 5. If I was in there also, if we would have pushed, we probably would have been top 3.
Yeah, I think Ovation's definitely one of those drivers that once he gets a little bit more experience under his belt, he's new to the Forza Motorsport scene. Once he gets a little bit more experience, definitely will be a name to look out for. You said he was wild about your numbers out there at Daytona. What about your, I guess if we were to take Wiseman's wildness factor here of Spa, how excited or not are you about this track?
Well, I'm really excited. Like I was saying, is I've been practicing on this track twice now. So I finally get to use the numbers that I've had from race number, what was that, race 3, race 4? It was a different spot, different. What was it? Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah.
I use those numbers for that track. So hopefully that my internet signal will last out and doesn't kick me out, and I could be able to run the laps good on this one.
Great point. So I'll try to not to take up all your internet resources there that you're borrowing and throw you back there into the lobby, because all the drivers, all 14 of them, are readied up. So we'll let Weisenmitten get his vehicle all sorted out too for the 3 laps of qualifying out here at Spa. This will take a little bit longer than most qualifying sessions, but it is a gorgeous track, as Joe Beardy alluded to. If you haven't seen Spa and you haven't seen it here in Forza Motorsport 7, be ready for it. It's going to look good. It's a fun track, a lot of high-speed corners. Really, the only slow-speed section is the final chicane as you get ready to make the run down the front straightaway. And then Lasaurus, the right-hander, turn number 1. Sure, it's slow, but you can just think of that as kind of the, in Hot Wheels, you got the little things that spin and eject the car out onto the orange racetrack. Well, you could think of Lasaurus in that regard, is that once they come out of turn number 1, then they're going up Eau Rouge, and of course trying to keep it clean there, especially here during qualifying. You get dirty, that's going to put you at the back of the pack no matter what. And then Radion, and then the out straight away, and then as you start to make your way back into the valley here in the Belgian forest at Spa, it's just you're going. There's really not any point on the track where you give your mind a lot of time to think. You've got to be on point and making the corners, because one small slip up, sure, maybe not going to throw you into a wall because you got a lot of runoff area out here at Spa, but in qualifying, it's not going to do well for your time. But then also in the race, it means you're going to be losing a lot of positions to the cars behind you. All right, Slow Motion Fire telling me there in the chat that we're ready to go, and here it is, sure enough, the loading screen, getting ready for those 3 laps of qualifying. Cashed your channel points. How many dirty qualifying drivers, how many folks will finish qualifying with the dirty lap as their best time? 0 to 3 or 4 or more. Right now we have 1 vote on the 0 to 3 side, and then we've got 2 who have cast their vote on the 4 or more side. Use those channel points. They're at the bottom of your chat. It's just that little number. And actually, you don't even use that. You should see a little banner at the top of your chat that's talking about a predictor. And if you don't have it there, then click on those little channel points at the bottom, and that should then give you the predictor question and answer options. You've got what looks to be maybe 4 minutes to cast your vote. And here we go. Grim is going to be the second one up the hill behind SGR Floofy. Let's go to SGR Floofy. Now into the horseshoe here. Big, long-running right-hander, and then this is where you start the downhill section, the slalom, if you will, of Spa. Coming up to Puhan, which is... Raise your hand if this is the corner that always goofs you up on your lap times, because we all have that natural tendency. You see all that asphalt out there and you just think, okay, yeah, sure, let me keep accelerating. But then once you put that third tire outside of track limits, boom, there's the exclamation mark in the triangle to notify you of your dirty lap. So trying to be as quick as possible, but within the limitations of the racing line, or the racing surface at least. And SGR Floofy now with the Maserati. He said, last time I talked to him, he said, well, this is basically a Maserati in Porsche clothing. What with the Ferrari motor underneath, and I think he said a Maserati chassis? It's a Frankenstein car. Now into what I call the slowest, quite possibly the slowest section, maybe a little bit faster than Lasaurus. And now up to the start-finish line comes SGR Floofy. A 2:24.280 for the outlap. Let's drop over to Audrex. Audrex now coming across the line with a 2:24.656. Not the quickest lap right now. That is a dirtied 224.656. Now Cratrim also with a dirty lap, and now it takes DTS Mondo to reel in a clean one, a 223.559. And my apologies, I'm trying to, you guys are maybe barely able to make out my voice, which may not be the worst thing in the world, but I realize I have the game audio up. Make an adjustment there. Drex keeping it tidy here. See if he can't make this second lap count. Down the hill. Get some decent camera views here out at Spa. It's one of the newer tracks in the Forza franchise. However, I'm still waiting for a bit more dynamic and varying camera angles so that we're not seeing the same thing every time. Who knows? Forza Motorsport. I have no clue when it's going to drop. But hopefully when it does, it'll give us a bit of a better broadcast angle about the track. And Audrex now trying to keep at least 2 tires within the white line. And then this follow-through section here up the left-hander right here can be tricky too. Same thing as Puhan, where you've got a lot of runoff area there off to the right, so it's easy for your mind to think, oh yeah, I'm good. Only to trick yourself into getting a dirty lap time. And now here comes Audrex. Will this be a quick one? SGR Floofy moving up to the pole position with a 221.456. Audrex. No dice. But right now, the second quickest lap time. Let's go to DTS Mondo coming up to the line. And SGR Floofy, at least for now, holds on to pole. Which, pole position could be huge here. When you think of Eau Rouge, they're on lap number 1. To be out in front and not be a part of the carnage, and hopefully there won't be any carnage, but at least to take yourself out of that possibility is reassuring. And DTS Mondo right now with the 4th quickest lap time. The 3rd belongs to Audrex. Cratrim with the 2nd. Luffy right now still on pole with the 221.456. And about a quarter of the way through the 3rd and final qualifying lap. Back in 5th is LS Barney. As you can see, was that Cheetah? Cheetah's car is superimposed over Kuda's, and that's because of the wonderful qualifying capabilities we have in the virtual world. I would be curious to get the driver's take, however, of having qualifying, and of course, Slow Motion Fire could set it up as such. The only thing is that if the cars aren't transparent, if they're not ghosted, then everybody essentially gets a dirtied qualifying time because of the slipstream effect. However, it would be interesting if Forza did give you the option, very much like Assetto Corsa Competizione, to have qualifying with the grid not ghosted, and just see what everybody's able to muster amongst each other, even if there is a slipstream effect. Not to say that FM4 would ever go for that, but you know, when you watch qualifying for any Assetto Corsa event where they're all qualifying simultaneously on the same track, oftentimes trying to occupy the same space, it does make qualifying a little bit more exciting in that regard. And now across the line, nobody's able to top SGR Floofy's 221.192, so he dropped that down from a 4.56, a 4/10 of a second, down to 1/10 of a second, a 1.92 there on the right-hand side of the decimal point. And that will be good for P1, barring anybody snagging that from him here in the final few moments of the qualifying session. There goes Ovation, who right now has the 10th quickest time. And as I run through the field, it will be Floofy on pole. Opposite of him will be DTS Mondo, who unfortunately was disconnected there out at the Daytona Speedway. Mondo was in 5th and was in the mix of the top 5, so could have done better, and unfortunately just ran out of internets, I guess. Cratrim, 3rd quickest time. Audrex, Barney, Slow Motion Fire up to 6th. Well done, Slow. Kuda, 7th. Cheetah, 8th. Patches Riley, 9th. Ovation, 10th. Grim, Weisenmitten, Nicky Bobby, Modern Weapon are the 14 qualifiers. We'll see how many of those were dirty, if any. Maybe everybody was able to manage a clean. Oh, no, I take it back. I already see 3. SGR Floofy with that pole sitting 221.192, a 222 there for Audrex. And DTS Mondo with a 221.384, 285 there for Cratrim, a 225.9 for Slow. Grim with a dirty 230, and so that will put Grim toward the back of the field. LS Barney, 223.5, a 226.2 for Kuda. Cheetah with a 229 clean. Weisenmitten, unfortunately, with a dirty 231 for Nicky Bobby with a 242.2. And then we see another one down there, Modern Weapon and Joe Beardy, both with dirty laps as well in the 245 and 235 range, respectively. So for those of you who said 4 or more, congratulations. You picked wisely on that one. And then, let's see, we've got Ovation with a 231.2, Patches Riley with a 231.195. Whew! All right. Well, for a track that we haven't been out to for quite some time, that's about what I would expect. You know, it's not one that shows up on the FM4 schedule often, very rarely. And 11 laps is what we've got on tap here. So hopefully folks can manage to keep the car intact, because it is a very long lap around Spa to return to pit lane entry. And even once you do, it is a very unorthodox pit lane entry. You go through the chicane, and rather than the second half of the chicane, the left-hander back toward the start-finish line, you just kind of keep going straight, and then you really have to hook it to the left to get into pit lane. And then it is a long pit lane. So a pit stop in this race would be absolutely devastating for any of the drivers. Doesn't matter how quick you are. It's got to be more than a minute, I think. More than a minute. I don't know. Maybe right around 50 seconds or so. All right, so all the drivers will go ahead and get readied up as soon as they've got everything sorted out. Yeah, I mean, going into week 5, I don't think we got it to... I don't think it's going to be locked down. I mean, SGR Floofy finishing in 5th out at Daytona means that opens the door for Cratrim. LS Barney, whose performance there at Daytona left a lot to be desired after, as we spoke to him, he had some troubles with traffic out there, and as such, 5th place was for Barney, 6th place was the best that he was able to make happen. But even then, SGR Floofy finishing 5th at Daytona does open up the door for the other drivers to remain in contention for the championship heading into week number 5. And of course, that is very much dependent on what happens here in this race out at Spa. And then even in that situation, we then have to take out everybody's worst week from their championship point total, because it is a 5 weeks worth of racing. 4 weeks count toward your championship point total. So whichever week was your worst, that's the one that gets the axe. And then whoever has the most championship points obviously is the winner. That winner of Season 40 gets to pick the vehicle for Season 41. You get the bragging rights and all that. But yeah, who's excited to see the championship decided at Mugello? It doesn't always happen that way. As a matter of fact, I would say 6 times out of 10, we already know who the champion is before week number 5 even happens. Before the 9th race even takes place, we've already basically dubbed the champion. So if this does in fact carry on into week number 5, that's pretty darn special. And the 45, 46 laps that will be the Mugello race means that you just never know. It's a mini endurance race, takes about an hour and a half to complete. You're going to have a pit stop in there somewhere, hopefully not more than one, but the one at least to top off fuel, and tires might also be a factor there, as we've seen on these road courses. We'll have to see how things go here out at Spa as it relates to tires, because that could be a good indicator of how things look at Mugello. The difference between the Mugello track in Italy and what we have here in Belgium at Spa is that Spa has a lot of elevation change, unlike Mugello, which is predominantly, if not entirely, level. There's very little elevation change. Any elevation change there might just be a result of some camber in a corner and nothing more. But it's the cornering that there's a semblance of Spa in Mugello, and likewise Mugello and Spa, to kind of understand what the dynamic or the situation with the tires is going to be. So we'll keep our eye on that going into lap 11. And either way, the drivers are going to have to stop at least once for fuel out at Mugello. So that just means you'll get fresh tires, but how bad will that degradation be, and what will the impact be on the drivers, especially those who may be a little bit more aggressive and might contribute to degradation quicker than maybe some folks who are a little bit more cautious or a little bit more composed in the corners. All right, take a look here at the driver spotlight. I don't see anybody there as folks are getting ready. There might have been somebody in there, and then I just completely overlooked them or neglected them. But we'll talk to some folks after this race has concluded. They're almost all readied up, and it does appear that we've got one more driver than we did have in qualifying, so that's good. They'll be at the back of the pack, whoever that is. They'll be at the very back of the pack, because if you're just now joining, then they have no qualifying time. But those who had the dirty qualifying lap, no matter how quick it is, you're always going to be posted further behind, even compared to those who had a slower clean lap. All right, let me go ahead and throw a predictor up here. Let's try to get a better one. And actually, let's see, what should we do? So we've got Floofy on pole. Let's go. So Audrex was our winner out at Daytona. Let's do this. Where will Audrex finish at Spa? Top 5? Outside top 5. And I'll go ahead and throw, let's go 20 minutes on this one, because they are loading up the race. And use your channel points, your executables here. Where will Audrex finish at Spa? In the top 5 or outside it? All right, SGR Floofy, the pole sitter. He's on the inside here as they line up for La Source at the end of the front straightaway. As soon as he departs the grid box there, everybody else is free to accelerate. Here we go. Kick the tires, light the fires. Race number 8 here of Season 40. Week number 4 is underway. Into La Source they go. SGR Floofy leads DTS Mondo, who has moved up to second. Audrex in third. Kuda Cratrium. That's your top 5 as they make the charge toward Eau Rouge. Oh, Floofy a little iffy. Mondo a lot more. Well, it looked like Floofy was a little twitchy, but he's still got a good 2 or 3 car length lead there on DTS Mondo. Everybody making it up Eau Rouge. How about that? And we've got one car who's just now entering La Source. That's Modern Weapon. Ah, yes, Modern Weapon was the driver who joined us here for tonight's race, who was not in qualifying, and I'm not sure if Modern Weapon is just, I don't know what he's doing. I can't vouch for him. I don't know what's going on. Kuda in 5th now into the hairpin. Look at those views. Out here in between the mountaintops and amidst the forest, the woods, the trees. The sound of the V12 Ferrari motors roar, and there goes LS Barney a little bit wide out of Pujan. Able to get it back behind Kuda 93. And our top 5 they've really spaced themselves out. Make sure you use your channel points. Where is Audrex going to finish? You've got some time, and I know the wise thing to do would be to wait, right? To kind of just see how things go up until maybe the last minute. So I don't blame you if you're just holding on to those. Channel points here on Xventure are useful for the giveaways. And back in the month of April, we had about $500 worth of giveaways. It was insane. But that was all thanks to the rabid support. I say rabid, and I mean that in an endearing sense. All the support that was given in the month of March and April. It was off the charts. Record smashing here for the channel. Upwards of 55 subscriptions, I think. Crazy stuff. Things have cooled back down a little bit. And here we go. Lap number 2 of 11. Back in Eau Rouge. We see up ahead. That's going to be 3rd and 4th. Pretty close to each other. That's Audrex in 3rd. Cratrim in 4th. And now Cratrim moves up to 3rd. Able to get around Audrex. Nice little chicane here, but you got to be careful like Barney there. You run it wide, you've got a wall, an immovable object. You can be a ferociously fast force, but you'll be no match for that tire wall if you try to cut it through the chicane for turns 4 or 5. And now here comes Audrex. Maybe try to get back up into 3rd. Cratrim, who finished 3rd out at Daytona. Would be nice for him to go back-to-back P3, but would be even sweeter if he can get 2nd or 1st. Oh no. Let me guess. I'm gonna take a guess here and say that Weisenmitten's connection, borrowing his neighbor's Wi-Fi, not working out for him. Yep, sure enough. Weisenmitten with the DNF. Cratrim wide, able to make a recovery, but he locked up the back tires. And in so doing, he's allowed Audrex to kind of close in a little bit here. Cratrim was starting to peel away, and now is doing so again on the front straightaway, lap number 3. Luffy, our pole sitter, is the leader in the race. Look at this view going up Eau Rouge, a little squirrely once again, but I think that can be attributed to just a quick counter steer on a controller, but had firm control of the car. Was not at risk of losing the vehicle, and instead just continues to run like mad here in the Maserati liveried Porsche Carrera GT. Number 92 number board there. SGR Fluffy with 2 Forza Spec Racing Series championships to his name, albeit under 2 different names. Don't ask me what the first name was, but SGR Fluffy was his second name, getting the championship there in season number 39 with the Mazda Miata MX-5 that was the 1993 model, I believe. DTS Mondo behind him. DTS Mondo, whose week number 4, I think, is going to be the scratch. I would have to remember. Well, yeah, I think this is the one that gets axed for DTS Mondo. Unable to finish the race out at the Daytona Speedway. Got a DNF from a disconnect. But DTS Mondo, yes, 189 in terms of total points entering week number 4. So if this one gets dropped, that means DTS Mondo has got to really, really excel in week number 5 out at Mugello, which is not outside of his capabilities. I mean, DTS Mondo has shown that Ninja Turtle liveried Carrera GT is a quick one. And, of course, that's attributed to his driving ability. One of those names that if DTS Mondo continues to race here in FM4, you've got to be on the lookout for him. I feel like a DTS Mondo championship is within reach here in the next 2 to 3 seasons. And it could be a matter of getting in a car that he feels most comfortable in. Maybe it is the Carrera GT. Maybe S800 is exactly where DTS Mondo wants to be. But you never know when the next season puts you in a car that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't expect to be this good in this car. Hopefully it's not the opposite. Hopefully it's not, oh, gosh, I didn't expect to be as bad in this car. But sometimes what it boils down to is the car and the performance index. You could be a top candidate, but if somebody else is better than you in one particular PI class, that might be the difference. As they come up to the tricky left-hander, you hear DTS Mondo getting off of the accelerator, running a little bit up onto the red and yellow curbing. The Carrera GT, I mean, it just looks right at home. I mean, this is a car that they've really given an opportunity to let go. Like, it hasn't been limited by the tracks. We had a Hockenheim ring, and even though it was the national circuit, so the shorter circuit, still plenty of room to run there. Suzuka, albeit in the wet, but still, they were able to lay down the power. Joe Beardy into pit lane there. We see off to the right-hand side as the camera went on board there for with DTS Mondo for a bit. Then it was Coda and Catalunya there in week number 2. And then last week we had Road Atlanta, the club circuit. So the shorter Road Atlanta circuit, but still plenty of high speed there. And then the king of speed there, Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe at the old Mulsanne. No chicanes there on the backside of that track. That was a screamer of a circuit. So they haven't been challenged with 582 horsepower on a tighter, smaller track. They've been able to get to wide open throttle often. And hold it there. And of course, that was no truer than out at Daytona, where I don't think they had to let up at all. Weisenbitten says, well, had a great internet connection and then the power outage. Oh, man. All right, Mondo. I see Mondo as I'm watching him getting around the track here. Weisen, don't step outside. Don't go anywhere. I feel like your luck is just not there, and we don't want that to translate into real world consequences. Just stay where you are. Get a bubble around you if you can. Oh, sorry to hear that. And who knows? Maybe for season 41, things will be looking up for you. We can only hope. Continue to hang out here with second, but let's see. Let's look back a little bit further. Let's go to Ellis Barney, who is in fifth, finished sixth out at Daytona. And it's a full moon out. See? Exactly. Exactly. No reason to go anywhere right now. This battle again. However, very different circumstances. So, last race, toward the end of the race, we saw Audrex on the back bumper of Barney. However, that was Audrex in first place and Barney in seventh place, preparing himself to be lapped. I think Barney was able to avoid that, but now here it is, Barney on the lead lap, trying to get around Audrex for fourth. And our third place driver, Cratrim. And Cratrim, his talent tends to put him in these situations. He's fast, but just lacks the utmost speed that our race leaders get. So you don't often see Cratrim fighting for second or first. Not all the time is that the case, but quite often he's off their pace. But then again, quicker than the likes of Audrex and Barney and Fear the Fun. And so Cratrim is just, he doesn't even see anybody right now at this point. He can't see the two cars in front of him. He sees really nobody behind him. But we'll see if that keeps up here on the last, I don't know, what is it, 4.5 laps of this 11 lap race. We'll see if that keeps up. But Cratrim, not unusual. Not unusual to be on the race island. Ellis Barney in fourth. Here comes Audrex. Oh my. Yeah, Audrex doesn't want to sit back there in fourth any longer. He's got some catching up to do if he wants a top three after winning out at Daytona. Try to get a second podium finish here in week number 4. Look at that. Slides it through the left-hander. And for now is up to fourth. You see the nameplate there for Cratrim, who's already out onto the front straightaway. So he could use a little push here from Barney to help him catch up. And then, of course, any mistake that Cratrim may make, not like Cratrim to make a mistake, but any mistake that Cratrim does make would allow Audrex and Barney to close in. By the way, Cratrim, formerly known as C-Tom on Xbox Live, has the most championships here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series with 9. Almost hit double digits. What was it, last season? Just came up a little bit shy in the finale. SGR Floofy remains our race leader ever since lap number 1. He was on pole, and that has not changed. ETS Mondo in second, and then this being our closest battle in the top 5, Audrex and Barney. Then just a little bit behind them is Kuda. But like I said, they can't see him in their rearview mirror. He's back there a ways. And then Slow Motion Fire in 7th. Cheetah in 8th. Grim in 9th. Patches Riley rounds out the top 10. Then it's Ovation, Nicky Bobby. Joe Beardy is off the track at the top of Eau Rouge. Maybe just going to spectate up there. See how things go. Let's hang out here with LS Barney. We're Les Ours up to Eau Rouge. Not as short and sharp as the chicane that is Corkscrew at Laguna Seca, but Eau Rouge is a formidable set of corners out here at Spa. Infamous. And a lot of times makes or breaks the race for those who have to take it on. There goes Audrex. Loses the back end of the Carrera GT. Let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle situation here for LS Barney. 43% there in the front two, and then 34 on the back end. 68% left in the fuel tank. That's not going to be a concern. And I don't know, here on lap 8, about to be lap number 9, tires may not be all that big a deal either. The tire situation definitely showed up a lot more early on in the season. Daytona, I don't think it was noticeable at all. And out here at Spa, not too bad. Across the line, beginning of lap number 9 here for Audrex and Barney. Wonderful battle of the evening. Flames out the back of the exhaust. There is Barney. Downshifts. going into the left-hander out of the not the hairpin, but the horseshoe. And now here they go side by side. I don't think I've ever seen here in Forza Motorsport 2 drivers go side by side through Puhan, and LS Barney, at least for right now, is going to be the benefactor. What a bold move there by Barney. I don't know if Audrex saw that one coming. But here on the midpoint of lap number 9 of 11, LS Barney probably thinking, I got to make a move somewhere. And now Audrex is going to go ahead and take it back. And Barney not in the best of positions there. And so here, through the conclusion of lap number 9, it looks like Audrex regains 4th, but that means we've got 2 more laps to go here between these two. Let's go ahead and take a look at that on the X-Venture Rewind. LS Barney on the inside. Forcing Audrex to kind of hold a line on the outside without running too wide. But Audrex taking it back for now. Kuda somewhat closer, and he's got a back marker, does Kuda, to work with. Here they go, too wide again through the chicane. And they're going to continue it into the downhill toward the horseshoe. It looks like LS Barney has claimed the outside line. Audrex, they're on the low line, and now with the left-hander coming up, LS Barney, you don't want to go too wide here. Well, let's see if LS Barney tries to snag that inside line here again. Maybe Audrex a little early on the braking, gets right up onto the back bumper. Audrex hunkers down on the apex, kicks up a bit of the grass there with the 2 left side tires, and Barney can do nothing but just continue to look at the LEDs there on the back of the Carrera GT of Audrex. Here on the back half of lap number 10. LS Barney, little switcheroo action, and he moves up. Can he? Yes, he does. He gets his car, his Carrera GT, out in front of Audrex there. Moving up to 4th, Audrex to the inside line. But he had to really decelerate for that one. And now up toward the start-finish line, the white flag figuratively being waved by the flagman. There is no actual animation. And now here they go out of La Source for the final time here. Season 40, the Carrera GT. We head to week number 5, the finale out at Mugello. SGR Floofy is still our race leader. DTS Mondo in 2nd. Let's go to Mondo, and then we'll jump back here to 3rd and 4th in just a moment. But let's see if Mondo is going to have a shot at Floofy for 1st in the final 3/4 of this lap. The final lap. The 12th is a cooldown. So this is indeed the final one. Into the left-hander. Oh, and Mondo is, I don't know if he's way off or if that's his preferred line, but not too far onto the inside there. And now, yeah, I don't know. He's a good half second to a full second behind SGR Floofy. This is going to be a tricky one to try to catch up. There is a back marker up ahead. However, as is often the case here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, that back marker knows not to be a part of this here on the final lap. But it looks like, based on where these three cars are. That they're not going to. Floofy and Mondo are not going to catch up to it. And speaking of not catching up, I don't think Mondo is going to be able to make it happen unless Floofy has a complete breakdown here. Through the chicane, Mondo gonna hold on for second in what looks to be Mondo's drop week. Let's go to Cratrim in third, trying to hold off Audrex. And actually, he's already... Yeah, Audrex is... excuse me. Wow. Hold on. Cratrim was all by himself the entire time. What I'm looking for is LS Barney in fourth, Audrex in fifth. Barney, who was in fourth there last time we saw him, is still there. And Audrex not going to be able to get around. So Barney will grab fourth, which is... He needed a finish like this. Now, hopefully Barney can make this his drop week. But if things go south in the finale, he has a respectable week 4 to fall back on. Sixth belongs to Kuda. Seventh is going to go to Slow Motion Fire. Cheetah in 8th. Grim in 9th. Patches in 10th. Ovation 11th. Nicky Bobby in 12th. Joe Beardy, who was a non-competitor pretty much for the entirety of the race, took himself out early and sitting at the top of Eau Rouge in... What is that, 13th? Yeah, 13th. And then Modern Weapon, who was the other vehicle who loaded in but did not participate. It's a DNF. And then we also lost Weisenmitten there, as reported in the chat. All right, folks, that's it for tonight's racing action. We will come back to the driver's spotlight, see if anybody wants to have a word with us before we go into our finale 1 week from tonight here on XVenture, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're watching the conclusion to week number 4, season 40, Forza Spec Racing Series here live, XVenture. I'm Dustin Moore. Be right back. And we're back on X-Venture Live as we wrap up week number 4, season 40, heading into the finale. And I am almost certain that the championship here in season 40 has not yet been determined. And so it may very well, if everything works out the way I think it will, when Slow Motion Fire does the math here after tonight's action, that we will see things come down to a shootout, a 45-lap, I believe, race there at Mugello in the Carrera GT to determine the season 40 champion, and then who is going to have the decision rights for what vehicle is raced there in season 41. Out here at Spa, Floofy picks up the win and probably would have really have loved a victory there at Daytona to make it 4 straight, and that probably would have secured the championship for him if he was able to do that. However, getting the win at Spa is going to make it a bit more difficult for the rest of the field to try to grab the overall leading position on the leaderboard for week number 5. DTS Mondo making an incredible recovery after getting the DNF out at the Daytona Tri-Oval. He was racing in 5th on that race, and as a matter of fact, we were riding on board with DTS Mondo when the disconnect happened, and finishes in 2nd out here at Spa. So well done by Mondo. Cratrim going back-to-back 3rd place. We see that so often there for Cratrim. If he only had a few more 2nd-place finishes in him, he'd be that much closer to the leader on that overall points standings and having a chance to get that 10th championship here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. But we'll see what everything looks like when the math gets finalized and how far he'll be out. Barney, as I mentioned there at the back end of this race, after he completed it in 4th position, that's coming off of the heels of a 6th place finish out of the Daytona Tri-Oval. He at least was able to get 4th out at Spa, get those points pinned down, and this might be the week that he goes ahead and makes his backup, his drop week, all contingent on what happens there in week number 5 with the single race at Mugello when the points count doubly. It's 2 times the point value in that 9th and final race of the season. And speaking of LS Barney, the rain expert himself, maybe would have wished that there was a little rain out here at Spa, finishing 4th. LS Barney, as I was saying, maybe not the result you wanted to hear for race 7 and 8, but at least you know you have a decent fallback here in week number 4 if it comes down to it.
Yeah, definitely the first race at Daytona. That was kind of disappointing. Started pole position, but sadly got on the apron, just lost the car, damaged it, and got sent all the way back to P8. But once got some draft and got back up to P7 in the end. Around here wasn't that bad. I think I could have gotten closer to Cratchum had I not had that awful start. But yeah, I'd say it was a decent race around Spa. Definitely could have been better, but yeah, I'm not too disappointed with it.
If there is anything that I could write in a Forza Spec Racing Series FM4 history book, it would be that you and Audrex just have some of the more epic battles that we see out on the track. We had the cameras fixated on you for a large chunk of the race, the both of you, and you were able to edge them out, regain 4th position there on the last couple of laps, and then it was defense there on that final one.
Yeah, it was definitely a just blood feud for a moment. I would get past them one time and then eventually just get past me on that next lap. Eventually, I think I was on like the 2nd to last lap where I got past them, was able to hold it and not make a mistake. And that's when I saw him start to fall back a bit. Because I saw throughout while I was following, he just didn't have the rear grip that my car had. I don't know if it was tuning or tires, but I started was having more grip than he was, so that might have been the contributing factor to me getting that 4th place.
Absolutely, and quickly a nod to Ovation with the Ovation Raid. Welcome, Ovation Raiders, as undoubtedly you all were watching Ovation getting around at Daytona and now at Spa in week number 4 here. Thanks for tuning in for the conclusion of tonight's activity. Talking here with LS Barney in the driver's spotlight. So you mentioned early on a bad start. What was that? Was it Eau Rouge, or was it just something a little bit later on in that first lap or two?
It was just the launch itself. I had Croatian ahead of me had a really bad start, and trying to dodge him, I went off into the grass and hit the wall. Luckily, I didn't get damaged, but I did lose like 2 or 3 positions because of it.
Maybe you're already thinking ahead here, not only the math, but then just the race that is the ninth and final race of season 40 out at Mugello. Do you find yourself, or do you think that you're in it here, or maybe you've fallen just a bit shy of a championship run?
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna be in the championship at all, but I think maybe I could get P3 in the end, which would be really good. But I think Audrex would have to have an awful race for that to happen. Or not Audrex, Krejci, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it might be close for a P3.
Yeah, Krejci, Mr. Consistency there with the third place finishes makes it very difficult for anybody else to break into the top 3. However, it is Mugello, and it is the Carrera GT, 580 some horsepower. There's going to be the need for a pit stop. Also, I think it is going to be the full track, so we're going to have that chicane there on the front straightaway after you get up and going in the Carrera GT to quickly bring it to a halt, and of course, everybody accordion behind you. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? Do you put any time into qualifying, or are you just going to show up next Tuesday and see how you could do without the investment of practice?
With how close to the championship, I think definitely the day before, like the day of the race, I'll do like an hour or so of practicing. Luckily, school let out just today, so I should have more time to practice. But yeah, I think practice is definitely going to be something I'm going to do for the first time in a while around this track, just how close the championship is.
Any words for Audrex?
Audrex, I'm just saying, I want P3.
Okay, fair enough. I know he's not going to oblige. He's not going to just be like, yeah, sure, Barney, whatever you want. But man, I hope the battle continues into that ninth and final race of the season. That would be an awesome watch. And then who knows if you could break into the top 3 for the final standings? That would be pretty spectacular. All right, so Audrex aside, any other shout outs tonight?
Definitely shout out to Cheetah. He did really good around Daytona. Yeah. Same goes for I guess you already said Audrex, but yeah, he definitely gave Cheetah a run for his money.
That he did. I know there was a little bit of bumping out there, folks maybe coming to grips with the amount of horsepower that this car has. We were definitely at tracks that allowed that all 580 some horsepower to be put to use, and when that happens, every once in a while things can get a little shaky out there. But all in all, good job here in week number 4, LS Barney, and we'll see you in the finale next Tuesday. All right, and LS Barney was giving a nod there to Cheetah B119, who finished second out there at Daytona. I know you would have rather have won that race. You would have rather been on pole. And then if you would have been able to hold on to that, that would have been just even that much more awesome. But second place at Daytona, not bad at all. And a little bit further back, it looks like maybe 8th position out here at Spa.
Yep, 8th place.
Was that the consequence of any sort of mistake or dealing with traffic, or is that basically what you would have thought, where you thought you would be at the end of this one?
Honestly, I did a lot better than I thought. I did not practice Spa one bit, so and I haven't gotten in the top 10 at all in this league before today, and I got top 10 both races. So especially Spa, where I didn't practice, I didn't think I was gonna do well at it, but I did.
Yeah, a top 10 is not anything easy to come by. I know some folks watching tonight may think, oh, but there weren't that many drivers out there. Surely top 10 wouldn't be that difficult. I implore you and definitely encourage you to take part here in the Forza Spec Racing Series if you think that, because it could be it could be very deceiving watching it here on the broadcast and then actually experiencing it and being a part of it out there on the track. As long as you race clean, they'd love to have you out here. I don't know. it can't disappoint you that much. The oval, sure, that's where you really had a great shot to pick up what I think would have been your first victory, right? That would have been your first victory in FM4.
Yeah, rookie victory if it would have been.
But I mean, you can't be too down on that, right? It's still a heck of a run here in week 4.
I was not expecting a top 5 at all this year.
Yeah.
Anything, I was thinking that my top 10 was going to come at Le Mans, not Daytona.
And where you saw yourself on the overall standings coming into week number 4 was in 15th place with 88 points. I think you'll be able to go ahead and skip over Patches Riley, whose name is not spelt correctly on there. You'll hop, skip, and jump over Onion with too many eyes. Modern Weapons, same situation there. McQueen will continue to track downward, having only participated there in week number 2. So we may very well see you on the left side of the board. CMD Slipstream, another name that wasn't able to be out here tonight. And who knows how much further up the overall standings you may go. So I don't know, looking ahead to next week, where do you want to finish when season 40 is all said and done?
Oh, I'll have to look at the standings to see where I am.
Oh,
but
come on. Just throw out
10.
be bold and throw out a number.
Top 10.
Top 10.
That's been my goal the entire season.
Yeah.
Before the season, I set a goal to get top 10 in the standings. And
Yeah.
I think after today, I think I have a pretty good chance to make that happen.
Anything in particular here in season number 40 that you've learned that you might be able to carry forward to season 41 and beyond?
Experience. Really. I mean, I just started any of this stuff 2 months ago, and I didn't know anything about it, so I was just getting into it. And now I think that I'm starting to get a little bit more knowing what's going to happen. So next year will probably be more of a what can I work on next season, not year. Will be more of a what can I work on to improve my standings.
You seem very composed, fairly. I don't want to say soft spoken because we're doing this over microphone here over internet, so maybe it doesn't come across the same as it would be in real life. But you know, are you taking it seriously, or really are you finding a lot of enjoyment knowing that this is something relatively new to you? Is it exciting to you? And I don't know. Do you have that competitive spirit where you're like, man, top 10 this season, maybe top 8 next season, and then eventually at some point top 5? Or what's your thought process around your participation here in FM4?
Oh, I'm taking this really seriously. I mean, I'm having fun out here.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm not denying that, but hey, I'm pretty competitive in anything that I do, but I mean, especially this was really the first, other than the spa 4 hours that I did, this was the first like together thing other than multiplayer lobbies that I had ever done. So
There you go. You guys are hearing it for yourselves that Cheetah decided to get involved here with FM4. And even if you don't want to take it as seriously and be as competitive, I think you'll find that you'll improve over time, and then before you know it, you might be a little bit more competitive than you thought. You might be saying, "Well, gosh, if I did that good, maybe I can do even better next season." So, something definitely worth considering if you have the slightest interest in community-based racing here in Forza Motorsport. Gosh, I had a question. Oh yeah, let's talk about so you kind of have an idea of where you want to be at the end of season 40. What do you think would be the right direction, at least for you, in terms of vehicle selection for season 41?
I think honestly, this car is not that bad. It's a little oversteery for me.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, my favorite cars are the Indy car and the F190s division, but we're not going to get those here.
Nope.
So high downforce is really my key.
Hmm.
I mean, I enjoy some of the like 500 PI class cars,
Okay.
especially if they have good handling. I really like the S-Class cars with a lot of downforce.
S-Class cars with a lot of downforce, perhaps something kind of DTM-ish or somewhere in that range. You missed the Formula. What is it? The Ford Formula.
Mazdas, yeah.
Well, and the
Formula
the
Mazdas.
Mazdas too. Yeah.
I saw that those were on the list, and I was like, dang it.
maybe
I'd love to run those.
maybe if the champion here of season 40 really wants to go back for him, maybe Slow Motion Fire will make an exception to whatever rule I think might exist. I think they're trying to like keep the cars unique from season to season, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, they are.
All right. Well, it's awesome knowing your story here, Cheetah, about how you're very competitive, have a high competitive spirit, that you're looking forward to finishing this thing out, and then what's to come in season 41. Any shout outs, anybody out there you want to either thank or just maybe somebody that you want to encourage to do battle with you in the 9th and final race of season 40?
I think it would be fun to see Ovation and me battle it out. Both of us use wheels every time. That would be a lot of fun. Slow motion, if he can slow down and just let me catch up to him for a little bit, that would be fun. I'm always 9 seconds behind slow motion. I don't know what it is, but it's always 9 seconds. So I don't know, maybe one of those two.
And actually, I would say that's probably good that there's that consistent 9-second delta between you and Slow Motion Fire, because then you know that you are racing consistently, he's racing consistently. Now you just have to find a way to bridge that gap. You just got to find the additional 9 seconds and hope that he doesn't. But if you're using him as kind of a barometer or a gauge for doing better and getting quicker, I think you could do worse for sure, because Slow Motion Fire, he's very consistent, and I think that would be an awesome one to see you kind of tango with there in season 41. Yeah. All right, Cheetah. Well, hey, appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing again your background. Maybe the one thing I ask of you before we wrap up this interview is, what do you say to anybody else who, like yourself, was like, man, I want to do some racing. Here's FM4. What do you say to them about getting involved?
Just try it, get into it, just try a race. Least you could do is just get on the reserves list, and if there's an open place, which there almost always is, we've only had 16 drivers the last few races. You'll get a spot. It's a lot of fun. Everyone loves to chat, and it's a lot of fun.
Very good. That's a nice endorsement. Cheetah, thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful evening. We'll see you in a week's time.
Thank you.
All right. Cheetah mentioned Slow Motion Fire, and Cheetah said, man, if Slow, you'll slow down a little bit and let me battle with you, that would be cool. Slow, you're not one to sandbag. Oh no, Slow. Really, you're gonna do this to me? You're gonna do this to me, Slow? It was a solid transition. I don't think I've ever had a mic issue with Slow before. He's gonna mute and unmute.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello?
you now. Can you hear me?
Just had to toggle the mute for some reason there.
Very good. I'll try to repeat this, but in fewer words. Cheetah said, slow down for him a little bit so that you guys can battle it out, but I don't think you're one to purposefully slow down for anybody.
No, and I didn't notice Cheetah was slowing down for me at Daytona, so this is going to happen. It's got to work both ways.
Well, I mean, Cheetah wasn't going to slow down for anybody, really. I mean, he wanted pole, just fell short of that, and then unfortunately, Audrex snagged the top spot from him. So he was trying to get his first win here at FM4.
Someday I'll be there, Dustin.
Well, you and him both, I guess, both battling it out there. A smaller turnout tonight. The DNF seemed to kind of rear their ugly heads more so than usual. But all in all, quite competitive racing. We weren't able to really take the camera any further than the top 5. But you here this evening, finishing in 8th out at Daytona, and then let's see, by my count, maybe 7th out here at Spa. I think those are pretty commendable finishes for you.
Yeah, I'm happy with tonight. I should have been a little higher up. Well, I had the potential to be higher up at Daytona there. I was running with Floofy, and then after Mondo's disconnect, I got faked out by his ghosted car on the track and took evasive action for a car that wasn't there, and that resulted in a spin.
How do you explain? I thought maybe it would have a lot more of a factor here in week number 4, either equal to or greater than what we've seen maybe back in, I'm thinking like week 1, tire degradation wise. It seemed to be higher out at Suzuka. Well, not Suzuka because that was in the wet, so you guys had rain tires on. But out at Hockenheimring and Coda, those are the two that come to mind. But tires didn't seem to be an issue out at Daytona or at Spa.
No, but Mugello will be another one of those tracks as we go there next week where I expect to see some tire wear, and we may even see 2 pit stops with the new kind of endurance schedule here with the little longer race.
Okay, yeah. We've had a few vehicles over the last few seasons where I've always brought that up, the possibility of there being a second pit stop. The Carrera GT drinking through the fuel as it does and then chewing through the tires. That would be something if we get a second pit stop to kind of have a role in things in the 9th and final race of the season. I don't know if you've already calculated the points, but how close is our championship battle here for season 40?
I have not added them up tonight, but with Audrex picking up a win here, it's going to shake up some things at the front.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Slow Motion Fire, who helps organize things here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. As a matter of fact, you kind of lead things, and then you've got some help from Modern Weapon, Fear the Fun, and others. How do you? I don't know. Is it something that we're seeing on the Forza end of things with the servers with the disconnects, or I don't know. It seems like some of the folks who are falling out are maybe newer to the series, or how do you explain maybe some of the DNF woes that we've had here in season 40?
I wish I could tell you, Dustin, because I've been on the DNF side of that as well. But
Yeah.
I know some of them tonight. Fear is having issues with his computer. It keeps crashing his game, so that's not on the server side per se. Wizen has been having issues with his ISP, so again, that's not necessarily Forza's issue. And then he had a power outage once he finally did get into the race. And then we had a few people have issues just with wheel hardware and some other stuff that messed them up. So it was a bunch of different things tonight that kind of snowballed into seeing quite a few people drop out of the Daytona race and then Spa.
Well, no matter if you're in the running for the championship, and very few drivers can ever be in the running. I mean, we've got the upper echelon drivers who are just going to gobble up so many points that it immediately takes a lot of folks out of the running. Either way, hope to see a lot of people return for week number 5 for the finale, run it all the way through. Is it I believe it's the full circuit, right, with the chicane there on the front straightaway, or are we removing that?
It's the full circuit of Mugello, so there's no chicane on the front straightaway.
You know what? I'm a goofball. I'm thinking of another track, but Mugello is actually one of the other tracks that we rarely visit in the Forza Spec Racing Series. I'm confusing Mugello for the other Italy track, which is
Monza.
Monza, yes. That was my problem, and I said that Monza, unlike Spa, has very little elevation change, when in reality, Mugello is pretty similar to Spa. So with that being said, is there anything you've learned about the car and how it runs here at Spa that you're going to be able to carry forward to Mugello?
Yeah, I would say Mugello, you're actually leaning on the car harder than you are at Spa. There's a lot more fast sweeping corners, which is why tire wear is going to be an issue. You're going to see drivers pitting for tires more than fuel. And we're shaking it up this season because we're doing the reverse grid start. So there will not be qualifying. We'll be gridding the field based on championship points. So
Well, that's I like that. I like that. Do you think
Yeah,
that's
we're
going to
gonna see how it
bring?
goes. It's new. It's new this season, so some of the drivers were kind of asking for it. So we're bringing it into the fold, and we'll see how that plays out with the fast guys. Have to get through lap traffic.
Yeah, news to me, and so quite interested to see how that one pans out. If you guys didn't catch that from Slow Motion Fire, reverse grid order based on the point standings going into that ninth and final race next week. That's going to be something to see. No qualifying, just going to jump straight on into the action. So that being said, I think that will probably put you about where you would normally qualify, right? It's one of those situations where you're about midway on point standings, and that's probably where you would normally find yourself after 3 laps of qualifying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in that group where my race start position isn't changed all that much.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, that could work out in the favor of drivers like yourself, Slow Motion Fire. Cuda 93 is one I think. Audrex, even though he'll be a little bit further back, to be in front of the likes of Floofy and Kraytrim, that might pan out nicely for him. So, yeah, there you go. There's a nice little teaser for y'all who are still watching, is come back and see kind of the new start to the endurance, the 5th and final week of racing here in FM4. That's going to be fun. All right, Slow Motion Fire, any shout out? Actually, I don't think I ever really asked this question of you, but where do you want the champion to go with car selection? I saw you shouting, what was it, muscle cars there in the chat. What do you want for season 41?
Yeah, some of my favorite seasons have been where we've run like the Vega or the Holden Ute or I really liked the F100s. So I like cars like that have quite a bit of power and not much tire, and you're just driving it off the rear wheels the whole time with the throttle.
Okay, there you go. We'll see if that influences the decision of SGR Floofy or Kraytrim or Mondo, whoever wins the championship here in season 40. Great chatting with you, Slow Motion Fire. Hopefully we can do it again next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the excellent job in the broadcast, Dustin, and shout out to the mod team.
Yes, shout out to the mod team indeed. And that looks to be it. That seems to be all the folks who have joined us here in the driver's spotlight. For those of you who are still watching, how is our viewer count higher at the end of the race or at the end of the broadcast than it was during the actual racing? I don't know, but please do join in next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on XVenture. We'll get things kicked off a little bit early with a preview of things. Certainly now with the new configuration to the 9th race of the season, with it being based on point standings and not a qualifying session, we'll walk through what that grid order is going to look like and talk about what scenarios that brings about. That's going to be fun. And Mugello, for those of you who were listening to my nonsense earlier talking about how it's a flat track, know that I mistaked it for Monza. Mugello, and one of my favorites in Forza Motorsport, and was thrilled to see it return in Forza Motorsport 7. I don't know how I mistake those two, but Mugello is going to be fantastic with the Carrera GT and with the reverse grid ordering. It should be entertaining, to say the least, and then very competitive at the most. It's if the championship is still on the line in week 5, you better believe we're going to see some hard driving, some very skilled driving at that, because as some of our drivers have alluded to here in the driver spotlight, Mugello might be one of those tracks where we see tire degradation play a bigger role once again, and then the possibility of a 2 pit stop race. That means strategy is going to be playing a factor more than it has in the first 8 races here of season 40. Going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. We'll see if we can't get a little party going. So tell your friends, your family, your foes, the 3 Fs, as I call it here. Tell them all about the fun that we're having here on Tuesdays. We'll get you to your Wednesday on a better note. If your Tuesday or your Monday hasn't been good, maybe we can get you to the midpoint of the week. feeling a lot better. It'll also be June 1st, so we will roll out of the month of May, heading into June, which means we've got E3 coming up pretty soon. Who knows if we're going to see anything from Turn 10 Studios or Playground Games. If it's Playground Games, it might be more so in the realm of Fable than it is Forza Horizon, but you just never know. We've heard some of the rumors about Forza Horizon 5 going to south of the border to Mexico, which I am pumped about. If that is the case, sign me up. I think I've actually thrown it out here on one of the broadcasts that while folks are saying, hey, let's take things to some part of Africa or to Japan, I'm excited about Mexico. There's a lot of there's a big variety change in topography there, from the beaches to the mountains, from snow to sand. I think it would be fantastic, and I would love to see that culture represented and somewhat have an effect on the game in the cars and the modification. Mexico is definitely one of those communities where, and I know I'm lumping Mexico all as one to say one community. It's a bit broad there, but car culture is huge in Mexico, and to see what influence that would have on a Forza Horizon title, I think would be fantastic. So for anybody who is maybe on the fence about Mexico and Forza Horizon 5, I think if that is the case, and that's where Playground Games is taking things, I think we're in good hands with Playground Games. They've shown that they can basically lead us anywhere in Forza Horizon, and it seems to be a fun time. Will we learn more about Forza Motorsport, the next title, the 8th iteration of Forza Motorsport, but without the number? Who knows? I'm pretty pumped to find out more whenever we can learn more. And more than anything, I just want to know when it will show up. I think we're maybe too far out from that, but the little teaser that we had last year, it just did not quench the thirst. As a matter of fact, I think it left me thirsty for more than it quenched anything. So I'm pretty excited about E3 this year, and in general, thrilled to see what happens here with FF4 as the series continues on into the new era, or the next generation of consoles, and then of course PC gaming. I cannot say it enough. If you're interested in the Forza Spec Racing series, I know I've dropped the link a couple of times here this evening, but head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. That's where you need to go for anything and everything about this series. Get yourself acquainted with the drivers. Get yourself acquainted with the rule structure. We just heard the change that is coming next week. Maybe take a look at the Porsche build and just get an idea for how things are put together. Everybody is driving the same car with the same upgrades. The only the two differentiators is, one, first and foremost, the driver, and then second, what parts can be tuned, you can do tuning to, and then they do have some assists that have to be forced on or off, and then other assists that you can set accordingly to your driving style or your taste, and get out here and race. I would love to see us getting close to a full grid once again. It's been a while here actually it hasn't been that long. I think last season we had full grid. It would be awesome to get to somewhere around 20, 23 drivers would be a full grid. And so if you want to partake in the season finale, the 9th race here of season 40, get yourself signed up, and all you got to do is race clean. That's all I ask of you as the broadcaster, because I don't want to sit here and keep touting increased participation if people show up and race outside of the realm of sportsmanship. If you do want to race, make sure you keep it clean, and then head into season 41, where everybody gets their points wiped back to 0. Make a run for the championship, make a run for the top 20, so that you get on our overall standings here during the broadcast. Maybe it's top 10, like Cheetah is aspiring for here in season 40. Whatever your goal is, and whatever stretch goals you may have, we'll see if you can make it happen. Join us here on the Driver's Spotlight. Let it be known who you are, what you're learning, and maybe your familiarity with the Forza series, and new names, new faces, new gamer tags. I think it's all good, and of course, new competition is even better out there on the track. A lot of fun, folks. I'll be live again here this Friday with the continuation of my MLB The Show 21. So if you're into baseball, know that I'll be doing that on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I am eagerly awaiting and anticipating the soon arrival, I think it'll be soon, of Wyoming in American Truck Simulator. And I do plan to get an Xventure game day in, which, if you're not familiar with those, that's a longer stream, a longer special stream on a Saturday. I'm kind of reserving that for American Truck Simulator and the Wyoming DLC. And so, I don't know. I feel like it's going to come out here in the next week or two, at which point I will schedule that game day. I'll let you all know. And then also, once the Forza Spec Racing Series has wrapped up here next Tuesday, the 3 or 4 subsequent Tuesdays, depending on how long of an off-season they take, I will fill with new content. It won't be baseball content. It'll be something different. So if you're not a fan of the baseball on Fridays and Sundays, know that in the absence of FM4, I will have something else, whether it be Snow Runner. I'm kind of debating whether it be Snow Runner. Maybe I get back into ATS in preparation and expectation of Wyoming. So maybe it's that. Maybe I jump into Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 again, which I'm a little hesitant to do. And there is a new Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 coming. They've already teased it and all that. So I don't know. Maybe I will get back into Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 just in anticipation of that title. Who knows? If you've got something that you would be interested in watching me play, by all means, drop me a line. I've got my email down below in the information panel section at twitch.tv/xventure. You could shoot me a whisper here on Twitch. You can send me a DM on Twitter. Whatever works for you. Find me, message me, and who knows? Maybe that's something that I'll play. Whatever it is that you're looking forward to. Maybe something that you think I haven't yet seen and should try out. Let me know, and we'll maybe give it a whirl here on the channel. Are we able to jump into the next race or the new season? King Killer Slayer. I think it's both, really. Is that if you want to race in the finale, as long as, again, you can commit to racing clean so as not to spoil the championship for those drivers who are in the running. That just means being aware of who is around you on the track. I think Slow Motion Fire and Company will be more than happy to have you for next week. And then that way you're that much more familiar with the drivers and the kind of the orientation, the layout of things heading into season 41. So the best thing that you could do is just get in contact with Slow Motion Fire, Modern Weapon, or Fear the Fun over on the Reddit page, reddit.com/r/FM4. Just let them kind of know, that you're planning to be a cautious yet competitive driver out there on the track, and they may extend the offer to you for you to race in the final race here next Tuesday, and then certainly in season 41 when really the registration is opened up. Not a guarantee you'll get in, but we haven't had exactly what Krachim says there. Krachim is a man of few words, actually 0 words in the driver spotlight, but another great resource for you in FM4, not only for learning more about the series, but once you get in, if you need help with tunes and all that, Krachim and others are happy to raise their hand and help you out. So thanks again. A gazillion thank yous to everybody who tuned in. If you haven't yet followed the channel, like Killer Slayer just did about 34 minutes ago, I'm sorry, Killer Slayer, that I was so late to say thanks, but thank you for that follow. And everybody else who's watching, if you enjoyed the content and you want this to be able to find this channel easier in the future, click that follow button. I'll be in your follow channel section, both in your Twitch mobile app, but then also on your desktop if you're watching us from a PC or Mac. And then also, if you have notifications set up, you'll get that notification when I am live. Again, I'll be live on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern with MLB The Show 21. And then again on Sunday, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, early in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern on Sunday with more MLB The Show. And then again, I'll get that Xventure Game Day, that special Saturday broadcast set up here pretty soon once I kind of figure out what it is that I want to broadcast. And then hopefully we'll see you again on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern for the finale here of Season 40. If the championship is not already decided, which I feel like it's not, it should be a very, very interesting race to watch. So don't miss it. Be here or be square, right? That's really all that can be said about that. All right, folks, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the week. Keep it safe. Keep it clean. If you get any racing action in, gosh, I haven't said that one in a long while. And then, of course, man, thankfully things seem to be easing up and in a healthy and reasonable manner as it relates to the pandemic seemingly slowing down here. So who knows? We talked about it a little bit last broadcast. Maybe we'll get like kind of a meet and greet set up for one of the U.S. Racing events that are going on here in the foreseeable future, and then perhaps we can all get together and talk about our fun in Forza and beyond. But y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week. Have a fantastic weekend if I don't see you on Friday. And yeah, I do hope to see you next Tuesday. It's going to be a blast. I really think so. Mugello, beautiful track. The Carrera GT has been an exceptional car. The drivers have been fantastic to watch. So I think that formula just means that next Tuesday will be something special, and you don't want to miss it. All right, folks, have a good one. Adios, farewell, bon voyage. Take care. Goodbye.